Yo Charlie, it's Democracy Day Street. So we stepped out onto the streets to ask the Ghanaian youth what they think of President Mahama's first 100 days and whether he's on course to meet the social contract he has with Ghanaians. Here are excerpts.
Oh, so far, Mahama is doing very good. Mahama is doing very, very good. What I've seen is the street lights. I drive at night, so the street light is perfect. When you pay attention to the Spintex road, the back, correct street lights, everything is on point. I really like it. And I'll give Mahama so far 85%. Because first 100 days, removing the bed tax, which is very necessary to me. He has done well. He has really done well. And the emission tax and the other taxes I don't even know about. He has really done well. I like Mahama a lot. Mahama is my G. Thank you very much.
Okay, so for the first 100 days, the rating I'll give Mahama is 55 over 100. And then so far, so good. It looks like, when it comes to accountability, this government is going to give us accountability. So that's what we are looking forward to. So, yeah.
Yeah, so I'm satisfied because he has removed the betting tax, which I think within 3 months' time, it will be implemented. Yeah, that's it. I'm very satisfied. Thank you.
On a scale of 100%, what will you give him?
Oh, on that one, I'll give him 75. Yeah, on that one, I'll give him 75.
What else are you expecting him to do?
Oh, okay. So you see, I don't actually know per se because I don't follow governments and those kind of things. Yeah, that's it.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
President Mahama has been in power for 100 days now, and
we are very satisfied. We're very satisfied with his governance so far.
Yeah, in our opinion. But I'm looking forward to the 24-hour economy.
Yeah, and the Galamsey, we are not seeing any action. We want to see more action there.
Yeah, he needs to do something about it because very soon we won't get water.
Yeah.
Yes, me, I like drinking water a lot, so I need the water.
The waters are dirty.
And then the e-levy, he did very well. He did very well with the e-levy.
Yeah, and then for the Galamsey, because of the waters being dirty, it won't bring more tourists to the country. Because we need them to bring their money, then we will also benefit. Yeah.
Yes, and they should stop the importation of our things to other countries. No, exports. Yes, export. They should stop exporting the things we have to other people. We need to, we need to even use it. Do you understand? So that they will rather come and then buy it from us rather than exporting it there. We are not supposed to.
Outside, we should process them first. For cocoa like this. We need to process it into our own chocolate.
There's no need for us to There's no need for us to export cocoa.
I'm saying
I heard. I don't know if it's a rumors though, but then I heard something like cocoa is now being exported. It's not fair. You see, he needs to stop all those things. Yes.
So on a scale of 100%, what percentage will you give?
No, on a scale of 100, I'll give Mahama 95.
I'll give him 99.999%. Yeah, I'll give him 99.999% because as he came into power, I can see the whole of Ghana is smiling. Everyone is happy. You enter the church, you touch someone, or the person is blasting you. That time was the other person's government, but Mahama's government, everyone is smiling, everyone is happy. Yeah, so that's my opinion.
You're welcome.
President Mahama, to me, it means first, senior Nanyama Costro, no percentage now, Nema Costro, or buy I stable. First, no, every week be a Nema Bocostro, Nema Bocostro, so buy I stable, me to means a Nema boy stable pa, and I send a year starve no, above from Gakra, and one young quay new mobile bread, yes, Sadia, but. Since so far, all started here, me say, Nema boy, I work here. Come a man percentage and come meet me a man say, Obianya perfect, but 80% to 90, then come meet me a man. So far, 100 days, no meet me a man 90%. Why are they? Okay.
All right, so for me, Mahama in 100 days, I think say be okay. Yeah. The only thing I see say he do it because say he remove the taxes, no. The levy and the betting tax, no. But I say it be early days, so we know if we tell say it be. So make you give them some few months. Or me, I say make you give them 1 year safe. Yeah, then we go fee judge them. Right now, the early days. Charlie, that be all. Percentage wise, I will give them 50. Yeah, I think half is okay. Yeah, for now. Say with time, it go free reduce or it go free increase.
Oh, so far so good. And you're bad. And you're bad to the extent that Nagana for complaining for previous governments. Say Nyama by 100 days for now. It's cool. Although system we are rough kakra there, but at least some taxes being Nyaman kitty be our council being or implementing for front you man it man embre small time never be change study everything what I say small time never be change. Oh, so far taxes now what you need there, to be honest, manage on. Yeah, because say ya be na nyam fa so sometimes yeah, because taxes no na previous government say na oye kra na or de ye bibi am support citizens in kra na and after all nke be hu say oh yeah benefit also what you say but yeah benefit also na why year fees no there eboa especially betting tax ni levy ni sa covid tax no ye nya hwem fi so but we and there
Yo, Charlie. Welcome to the maiden edition of Democracy Day Street, where Gen Z checks government, street style. Today, the question we dey ask be say, is President Mahama on course to meet his 120-day social contract promise? You dey kind say campaign time, President Mahama tell we say he go do some 26 things within the first 120 days. He say he go appoint lean government. He say he go appoint cabinet within 14 days. He say he go scrap e-levy, a host of things. I'm joined in the studio today by two young people to discuss whether President Mahama is on course for meeting his social contracts with Ghanaians and how can we keep him accountable. To my far left, I'll let him introduce himself. Big time businessman, but still a young person at heart. Jay.
Yes, my name is Jacob Kwekuja. As Albert mentioned, I am a young businessman and I'm very passionate about the development of the youth in the country.
My name is Cleopatra Azantilo. I'm a student at the Ghana School of Law. More than happy to be here to share my views on the subject and looking forward to an exciting discussion.
And to mediate the conversation today, it's yours truly, none other, Albert Ejapon. All right, so let's get right into it. What do you guys know about the promises President John Mahama made during the election time? Cleopatra, which were the ones that stuck out to you?
Okay, so let's just say I happen to know very much about the 120-day social contract, but not just that, but the extensive promises that were made in the manifesto. And, the NDC also had a youth manifesto that we purposely targeted for the young people of Ghana as well.
Adekai.
So those are things that if I should say, very knowledgeable about. Well, back to the question of how these things were very impactful and which stood out most to me. I think one thing that really affected me was e-levy all the time, actually. So I'm so happy that e-levy has finally been abolished and the law was repealed, and finally we can have a bit of clarity to our mobile money transactions. So that was something that was personally affecting me, and I must say it was very annoying. You can be sending 100 Ghana cedis and then they are taxing you for just sending that amount of money. That was a policy that should have never happened in the first place, and it just was going to be very disadvantageous to a lot of people in Ghana. The average people, students like myself. Yeah, so it's e-levy.
Jay, as someone in tech, how do you feel about e-levy and its scrap? What are your thoughts?
Well, I also followed closely the president's promises, and I like the idea that there was a 120-day for us to measure him. I think on a large scale, it's difficult to measure any government around the world to make any large-scale transformation in 120 days. But they did mention that they would abolish the e-levy. And for somebody like me who is into providing tech services, I encourage a lot of businesses to go electronic. And e-levy for me was a backward sort of direction, because then you're encouraging people to do more cash transactions rather than go electronic, because the electronic industry creates a whole new ecosystem, whole new opportunity for a lot of new people, and also makes business easier. And when the cost of doing business is easy, the economy definitely has an effect. So I didn't like e-levy, and I'm very excited that that has been achieved. But there are a lot of other things that was also mentioned in the 120-day social contract,
Yes.
which has not been done. They said there will be a launch of a youth job program. I've seen a lot of talk.
We've actually started.
I've seen a lot of talk in that direction, but talk is different from action. There's been digitization of public services. I don't expect that to be done instantaneously, but I think we would hold them accountable to that. Yeah, of course, the betting tax was important to a lot of young people.
Yeah.
Personally, I believe that instead of betting, you probably could put in a lot more energy in skill acquisition and other things. But let's be honest, there are a lot of young people who are dependent on that for daily survival. And some of them are lucky to it. So I will not, this is not the platform for me to judge. But if the government is promising that, I think they should do it. I'm told that there has been some implementation to it.
Yeah, the 1 million coders program was.
Yeah.
launched.
So before I go, just on the topic of on taxes generally. So me, I'm impartial. I'm saying that the promise, the social contract, was to abolish. It was e-levy, betting tax, COVID levy.
Yes.
They've done e-levy, they've done betting tax. What's up for the COVID levy? Because that's on fuel, which
affects
increases-
everybody.
yeah, exactly.
Every Ghanaian is affected by it.
Yeah.
The COVID levy bill was also part of the bills that have been laid on the floor of Parliament. And to the best of my knowledge, it has actually been passed. It's just waiting for implementation for it to actually be done. But as far as I'm concerned, yeah, because if you would allow me to read, so it was electronic transfer, income tax, emissions, earmarked funds, capping and realignment bill, revenue administration, growth and sustainability, Ghana Infrastructure Investment Fund, special import, and then COVID levy, which is still on the table, that is yet to be passed. So there have been about 7 bills that have already been passed. Yeah, affecting not just the framework of Ghanaian people, but more importantly, it shows how the government is very persistent in ensuring that it alleviates poverty and ensures that people get the opportunity to feel better. So all these bills that have actually been passed show that the government is more than willing to listen to the people and also pursue the objects of the social contract that it actually put in the 120-day social contract. So if the COVID levy has not been passed yet, we shouldn't be so quick to say that, oh, government hasn't done anything. In any case, it's still 16 days more to actually, for the 120-day to actually announce.
So are you saying that they'll pass it within the remaining 16 days?
I have so much confidence in John Mahama, and I believe that they're more than likely to actually do so. Of course, that doesn't mean that, of course, we both know that placing a bill on Parliament can take a long time, first stage of reading, second stage of reading and all that. But if the government, by its actions, has shown commitment to pursuing the objectives of the 120-day social contract, then we should not be so quick to lambast them or say that, oh, they are not doing their part. They are not, like people say that, oh, John Mahama said he was coming to make Ghana heaven. That's not true. How are you going to use 3 months to actually make Ghana heaven all of a sudden? So we should be very lame in the criticism. John Mahama has done very well. He has fulfilled 68% of the promises that were actually...
We'll get there. Whether it's really 68%, we'll get there.
Well,
Look, as a young person, I don't swing into the politics of it. I just want to make sure that the average Ghanaian is benefiting from good governance. And if we are describing this 120-day measurement as policy in motion, I think then I'll rate the government. They've taken some steps. They've made some strides. But as I said earlier, I think 120 days is not enough to judge any governance. But they themselves put themselves in the situation of, saying, look, in the first 120 days, I'm going to do this. Free tertiary education for first years. We are not hearing much on it.
Oh no, but actually, when the budget was passed, funds have been specifically earmarked for the pursuit of that.
All that is policy in motion.
Policy in motion, but
what we want is real impact.
Of course,
and we are looking forward to seeing that impact from the president.
I don't know if you saw the last time, that was on Friday, news actually came out from the Deputy Minister of Education, Clement Apak, that the procedure that they intended to use to pay out the monies to the first years to refund their fees, they wanted to initially, Haruna Idrisi was saying they wanted to do it personally. They wanted to give them the money personally, but now they're saying no, they don't want to do that. It's all a matter of trying to get the appropriate means through which they're going to pay the fees, whether they're going to pay directly to the schools or to the pockets of the students.
But we are waiting, and we are going to hold them accountable.
Of course,
that is the point.
There's no doubt about it, and I am very, very happy when I see young people more than willing to interrogate the government and ensure that it's accountable.
Because things have changed.
Yes.
And the youth now care.
And it's the more reason we actually wanted a change in government. So I perfectly agree with you.
We have the change.
We have the change. We do have the change.
This election has shown that the Ghanaian youth would rise when there is the need.
Of course.
The Ghanaian youth is not as timid as we make it look.
Of course.
And so this has to also be a reminder to the new government that if they don't perform, the Ghanaian youth would hold them accountable. In 4 years, in 2 years, I am very confident there's going to be events that would show them that you promised this and we are holding you accountable.
Let's bring the conversation back to another thing that I think President Mahama has done. I think he said he was going to give us the leanest government possible and appoint his cabinet within 14 days. I think, did he meet the 14-day deadline there? He met the 14 days.
That was amazing.
Yes.
That's something we have to applaud him for.
Yes, and we're applauding. Congratulations, President. You do all. And as part of what's my interest here is as part of the 60 ministers that he appointed a minister for youth.
He hasn't actually appointed 60. We have 56.
56, so there's 4 left.
4 deputy ministers to actually be appointed. So right now we just have 56 ministers, and then there will be remaining 4 designated ministers.
Maybe he might even do less than the 60. Maybe that's the
point. That would even be more commendable on his part as.
However, we have to also see that being lean is about efficiency,
of course,
right? So we want him to put together an effective government, but it has to also be the use of resources. So if you can put together 10 people who would not be efficient, would end up spending millions and millions of dollars that could have done transformative projects for the Ghanaian, and somebody might end up putting 12 people. They probably constitute more numbers, but their impacts will be more. So I think that the idea of constituting a very lean government is commendable. But for me, the question is it the right number of people we need to do the right job? Do we have the resources for each of these portfolios? I think those questions actually supersede just constituting a lean team. Because if you constitute a lean team and these people do not perform, then what is the need? What we want to see is money in the pocket of the Ghanaian youth. What we want to see is growth in the life of the Ghanaian youth, growth in every sector. And if being many or being few would achieve that, first and foremost, we have to put the effectiveness paramount. And then afterwards, we can consider the efficiency. That is how I see it. But I will still commend the president because I think the announcement of the ministers was quick, because I usually don't understand why it takes so long to constitute.
Charlie, lobbying for Bako,
plenty lobbying, of course, and we understand the politics, but work must be done. The country cannot stand still, and I think this president has done a good job with that. Now we are looking at the people who have been nominated. These ministers should know that their names are on the lips of Ghanaians. We know their names, and this is their legacy. President Mahama, we've seen him before, and Ghanaians have given him the trust for him to come back. Now the question is, would it just be a replay of the previous Mahama we had, or are we going to see a transformation? And I think at this point, if I was in his shoes, I would be saying that the good people of Ghana has trusted me to become their leader again. I want to leave a legacy. And I think that there have been signals with some of the things we've seen. And we hope that he continues that way so that the good people of Ghana would enjoy good leadership. I think that we have all the resources. What we've been lacking is leadership, and we hope that this time things will be different.
Okay, on that note, we'll go for our first commercial break, and when we come back, Cleopatra, you justify that 68% you are mentioning.
Of course.
Thank you.
Day or night. Feel elegance in your home at every moment. There are no time limits to living your style. Discover the colours of Habib and bring your style to life in your home. Modern design, elegant details, superior quality. Rediscover your home with exclusive colour options. Explore now in our showroom, Habib Furniture. Add style to your home.
Welcome back. This is Democracy Day Street, and we are assessing President Mahama's 120 social contracts with Ghanaians. Is he on course or he's not? All right, so before we went, Cleo, you're telling us that you will score President Mahama 68% on the promises that he was. What exactly has he met, apart from the ones that we've already discussed? You merit that 68%.
Okay, so first and foremost, and for the benefit of viewers as well, it's important to note that there were 26 promises that were in the 120 social contract. Now, since the beginning of this administration, President Mahama has been able to successfully work on 7. 7 have been successfully done, including one, the national...
Out of 26.
7
out of 26.
Make she go. I'll be with you. Go. Make she go. Say 7.
We have the national...
Let me take out my register and math. Yes, let's go.
Let me read them out to you so that...
Take your time. I'm marking. Me, I'm a teacher, so I mark.
Hey, good. So we have the 120-day... the National Economic
Dialogue.
That has been done and
just 3 days. That's one.
Yes. Then we have the first 14 days. He's going to have his cabinet ministers.
Okay.
Constitute the leanest and most efficient government. That's
okay.
3. Then he said he's going to, within his first 90 days in office, scrap e-levy, COVID levy, bet winnings, and emissions tax.
This one half mark.
So this one is half. Okay, fine. Then within his first 90 days in office, review taxes and levies on vehicles and equipment. And that is actually a bill that is currently in Parliament.
But it hasn't been done.
But it's in Parliament and it has been passed.
No. But you and I both know that bills were laid before Parliament in the last government that were not passed. So it hasn't been passed.
No.
Until it is passed, it's not law.
The one on family values was never passed.
It was never passed.
Levy amendment bill has been passed.
Yeah.
They have passed it. The special import levy has been passed to ensure that we have a fairer tax administration system when it comes to importation of vehicles into the country. So that is
but duty prices no go up. Last time, Chala, they check on that year, almost 200,000.
Well, Parliament has done its part. So it's then up to the enforcement agencies to ensure that the enforcement is being done. You can't blame John Mahama.
It goes back to my point that announcement and policy
talk.
It's not action.
Yes, but
it's not.
No,
action.
but see, we must
young people must demand for more.
There's a separation of line. Do you get it? You have an executive that is fully committed to ensuring that it fulfills its mandate to the people. The executive has done what it's supposed to do. So then it's now up to the agencies of the state to empower the executive.
Make it slow down. Who appoints? Who appoints? Which branch of government do these agencies fall under?
Of course, they are part of the executive.
Exactly.
But let's be.
Who appoints GRA commissioner?
But let's not be quick to the criticism.
No. We are not criticizing the government.
We are just asking questions.
As I've said, 120 days is not enough for any large-scale transformation.
But nobody has disputed that.
But we have to put whoever is in power on this or a toe.
So the point is, should the criticism or the outburst be directed personally towards John Mahama or the agencies that are supposed to ensure the enforcement?
Boss, but this thing,
because Mahama has done his part by ensuring that the bill has been
It is Mahama's government.
Exactly.
Government is not just the president.
Working alone.
No. But it's going to appoint people who can do the work.
Of course, and he has done that. But
now you're saying that people are not working and John Mahama has done his part.
I never said that. The discussion was that special import levy bill has been passed. if you say, and I personally do not know the prices of vehicles because I'm not even a vehicle user, so I don't even know whether the implementation has been done at the port or not. But if you say that has not been done at the port, or that Honda Civic is this price and this price, then you don't blame John Mahama for not being able to ensure that the enforcement of that bill has not come into effect. Rather, you put the blame on the state agencies that are supposed to ensure the enforcement.
No, Cleopatra, you have to understand that.
Wait.
You have to understand that.
Wait, do you expect John Mahama to go and be at the port to ensure that the special import levy?
Yes, this is the source of excuse we shouldn't be taking. This is the sort of excuse, Cleopatra, we shouldn't be taking as young people.
Does he not have a minister of finance?
Exactly.
Is the minister of finance not as cabinet?
So exactly my point. It's all actually boiling down to my point. The point, however, is that a lot of people might not even know that the implementation of the special import levy has been done in the first place. So as citizens, what we should rather be doing is that, Your Excellency, this bill was passed in Parliament, but unfortunately, the implementation is not being done. One thing about John Mahama is that he has shown...
We have to do some research so that on the next episode, we actually demonstrate exactly what has been passed. Because now there are questions on
whether it's actually been passed or not.
If you go to the Ministry of Finance, their website, all the bills that were passed are there. And they are the ones I previously read before we went for the commercial break. So already there's no question as to what has been passed. The point of the discussion, and see, we are even deviating away from the main question.
Yes, because you mentioned 3.5 things, so out of 26.
Let me finish what.
Yeah, so finish what else he's done. You've done 3.5.
So
I'm still marking.
Convening a national consultative conference on education, that has already been done.
They started.
No, it has actually been done. They concluded the conference actually.
The committee?
Yeah,
is done.
The committee is done with the consultation process. So it's now left with the committee to bring out its report.
Okay.
Exactly. Then introduce the following social interventions: free tertiary education for persons with disabilities and the Ghana Medical Care Trust Fund. So Ghana Medical Care Trust Fund was launched, and then in the 2025 budget, allocation was made for free tertiary education for persons with disabilities.
The Mahama Cares project.
Yes. Now, commencement of the distribution of free sanitary pads to female students in primary and secondary schools. Allocation was made in the 2025 budget. So that is something you can say is in progress or is yet to be fully implemented.
Just before we go on that, Jacob, what are your thoughts of, as a young businessman, government, they take 300 million cedis of our money, go buy sanitary pads, import it into the country and distribute. If they gave you 100 million, could you not set up a factory and start producing it yourself?
It's not 300 million, it's 292.4 million.
It doesn't change the question.
We are going to
import the sanitary pads into the country.
No, that's not
I think for one of the promises of this government is also to boost local production.
Yes.
But so in that regard, I would have expected them to set up a factory and let us
know the jobs that would have been created.
Because we know the impact. This conversation around free sanitary pads, take taxes off sanitary pads, it has been around for a long time.
Yes.
And I think that I sort of
personally written about it.
I sort of resonate with the people who opine such ideas.
Opine, why? The ladies were not suffering.
No, I resonate with you. I'm with you. I'm saying that I agree, because of course it's a natural thing that happens. They didn't inflict it upon themselves. So we are saying that the state should take care of them, because in some rural areas, young girls really struggle with taking care of their menstrual hygiene. But if we are going to invest a lot of money we could have
this is just for 1 year.
Turned around, set up a factory, employed more people, and probably had much more impact. I probably will side with you on that.
I'll bet, if you allow me to respond. So 2 levels of responses. First, this is a policy that's supposed to be done within 120 days, right? If government said it was going to set up a factory to come and please, no one should interrupt me. Let me just make the point. If government says that, I'm coming to set up a factory, you set up the factory, you are building the factory. How long does it take to build the factory? Meanwhile, ladies are still undergoing the process of the menstruation and all that also. And then you are now waiting for the factory to be completed before you now buy the sanitary, before you now get the people to work in the factory. You get employers, you get employees, you set up, have managerial setup and all. will take almost a year to do that.
Yeah, but we have to look at the long-term effect.
Exactly.
The long-term effect. On the short term,
even in the short
on the short term, you could have given some tax exemptions on sanitary pads, reduce the prices.
Of course.
So that the impact on the young girls and in the long term.
Let me ask you a question.
We make such
Let me ask you a question. Has government not set up the gold board, which is functioning and running?
Yes, gold board has been
Exactly
set up.
from scratch. They implemented, did a bill, did stakeholder consultation, procured offices for them, are recruiting and they are working. Could we not have done the same for the sanitary pads?
Of course, but it's a built up.
That's the point that we're making. That we should have looked internally and said that how can we do this locally? Create jobs for young people and retain the money.
Need jobs.
You guys are not still attacking one face of this argument. Who said the government is not willing to engage local producers?
Government has not said that it's willing to do that.
No, but who said? But who? In any case, who said the government said it will not engage?
This is an opportunity for us to point out that
so
maybe governments can also look at such avenues.
It shouldn't be that government is going to import sanitary pads. No. In any case, one thing that the John Mahama administration has been very committed to is ensuring that we enhance a framework of a 24-hour economy. And I do know,
that is something we are looking forward to.
I do know and trust that His Excellency John Dramani Mahama's government will be more than willing to engage local producers of sanitary pads. Look at YAS. You guys don't even know sanitary pad products. YAS, proper. Okay, maybe you have girlfriends.
I think that is Reflow.
Yeah, and Reflow. Almost all of them are actually local brands. And if government is taking initiative to partner with them, this is actually going to be something that is going to be good. In any case, the budget only said that it has allocated money. It never said how is the production going to be done. So rather, what we should do on this podcast is to point out that we are looking forward to government to partnering with local stakeholders in the market.
I think that's exactly what Albert is saying.
But I just needed to point out the thin line of discussion that government has not in any way said that it is going to import.
You've still not reached your 68%. What else is left?
Let's continue if you wouldn't, if our viewers would care to. Yeah. So institute enquiries and forensic audits into the following matters of public interest, including the collapse of the indigenous Ghanaian banks, Palugu Dam, Ejapa, illegal printing of money, National Cathedral. And
are you saying that has been done?
No.
So we've had one interview, one press conference from the Attorney General. No prosecutions, nothing.
Wait.
One interview.
What? Wait.
Is it the one on the...
One interview on Dubois, and that's the only thing that we've had. Yeah, I don't think that would cross as a check here.
No. There's more to it, actually, if you would allow.
No, but because that's something that the young people really because they are saying that the previous government, they chop money. So the young people want to see
I like oral, so I want to see the action.
Yes.
So, but we're not seeing the action.
Don't forget that the work of oral has been done. So it's now left with the domain, within the domain of the Attorney General to now start bringing that information. Do you get me? So they said institute enquiry. The enquiries have been done. So you can check this point as correct.
I'll give you a half mark. What else have we done and what is left? That's more critical for us.
Allocate seed money for the establishment of the Women's Development Bank, which was done in the 2025 budget. Launch the following priority job creation programs: the 1 million coders program and the Ejumara program, and then the apprenticeship program. They've all been done, and then they are actually being spearheaded by the National Youth Authority and the Ministry of Communications as well.
And the 1 million coders.
Yeah, the 1 million coders was launched last week.
Yeah, Jacob, do you have any thoughts on that?
For me, right, two things. I wouldn't want this to become a political initiative, because there are young people who would be in the village who learning how to, this kind of skill acquisition will transform their life.
Yeah.
For somebody like me who grew up in Kotobabi, Newtown, one of maybe the first person to have high school education, learning software, learning how to program changed my life and helped me to develop. And so I want us to look at, I do not want us to make it very political. Unless you are NDC, then you can be recruited. We have to open the gap. Let's make sure that the entire Ghanaian youth benefit. Yeah. Because believe me, there's one young gentleman in a certain village who can build an amazing application that would, bring transformation. The good thing about this is, if we are able to achieve skills transference on a large scale, these young people can build products that would impact Ghanaian businesses, that would bring growth to African businesses, that would put Ghana on the map. because now in the West, a lot of companies are looking for people who know how to code. In India has become a market. Philippines has become a market. Ghana could be a market because the programming language is the same. And so one of the things that I want to champion is that we need to make sure it's as inclusive as it could be. And as I've said, it shouldn't be just talk. We are tired of the rhetorics. We want to see if there's, how they are going to achieve it. What is going to be the framework? Are they partnering with local companies, software companies? Are there going to be incubators that people would come and learn? What's going to be the registration process? I've also seen, in terms of even job creation, so many announcements from the NYA, from the YEA. Okay, we are saying that pilot is not policy. We have to know that. A pilot is not policy. We want to see more action. And let's hear from the government. How are the Ghanaian youth supposed to log on to these platforms, register for these opportunities, and see real transformation?
Okay.
Yeah,
All right. Just before we go, just quickly round up for us.
Yeah, so
the 68.
So high-profile criminal investigations.
Down, we say half.
Half. Well, we've done it.
Who have you commenced prosecution against?
So no. Investigations reopened. And before, when John Mahama took office, he actually told the IGP to commence investigations into the death of the renowned journalist Ahmed Swale. So that's actually something that we've actually done. Then compensation allocated for the victims of the Akosombo spillage. And actually that has also been done for in the budget as well. The Tree for Life and Blue Water initiative as well has been launched. And even they've already started having the recruitment done. And they are going to be launching a lot of the guys who will go and be ensuring that the water conservation and environmental recovery is undergoing as well. So these are like, if I should say, so far what we've mentioned are the things that have been done, Ankasa. Like they've been done. No,
let's check. No,
but
a lot of them are half.
Yeah.
So so 1, 2, 3, 3.5, 4, 5, 6, 6.5, so 7, 8, 9. I'll give you half for the tree water because you've not banned galamsey yet and forest. So let's say 9.5. 10.5, 11.5. 11.5.
We talk of no academic fee policy.
Yes, you mentioned that.
Yes.
11.5 over 26.
So look, the 120-day promise for me is symbolic. It's symbolic of where the government wants to go. And overall, we probably have not achieved an A mark yet. But it also shows the intention of the government.
Of course.
For me as a young person, because of E-Levy in particularly, I'm excited that they've been able to keep that promise. But we want to also tell them that we are looking for structures. We are looking for timelines. We are looking for implementation guidelines. And this time, the young people are not going to, how would they talk about, sleep on governance. We are going to raise our voice. We are going to do research. We are going to question them. And I think that once the people in power have that at the back of their mind, we are going to see a better Ghana.
So 11.5 over 26, that's not 68%. That's barely 50% Cleopatra.
There's more actually.
We'll take a commercial break. When we come back, we'll look at what is left and how can we as young people push and hold the president accountable in the last 16 days of the 120 days.
Day or night. Feel elegance in your home at every moment. There are no time limits to living your style. Discover the colors of Habib and bring your style to life in your home. Modern design, elegant details, superior quality. Rediscover your home with exclusive color options. Explore now in our showroom, Habib Furniture. Add style to your home.
Welcome back to Democracy Day Street. All right, so just before we went, we assessed President Mahama. I think I had 11.5. I just recounted. After doing recollation, I'm at 13.5 over 26. That's not bad. 30, that's slightly.
So does it validate the 68%?
No, 13.5 over 26 does not reach 68%. It's thereabouts.
Let's do the math.
It's thereabouts. So I'm a lawyer, I'm not a mathematician. Anyway, so what's left? if I look at my list, for me, as a young person and as a Ghanaian, the one thing on my list that I'm looking forward to the president taking action on is the ban on illegal mining, Galamsey. It's become a huge issue. One of the reasons why young people voted against the previous government was the lack of action when it came to illegal mining and the fact that our water bodies were being polluted without any government action. President Mahama promised action. 104 days in, we are yet to see that action.
Yeah.
What are we waiting for?
I think that the intention is clear, but action is slow in a lot of areas. Another thing I would also say is that some policies require more than just desire. There has to be some political will to sacrifice certain things. I think we know in this country that Galamsey is not something that we can easily deal with. I think there are so many big wigs, political people, big men in quotes that are behind the Galamsey. And in that regard, some of these people have a lot of control, and therefore the authorities are unable to take the action that would help us sanitize our water bodies, help us make sure that this illegality comes to an end. So I think that the government needs more than just political will. They need some sort of, strong will within themselves that we are willing to put everything on the line. We will not be bought by some political bigwigs or by some businessmen, and we will care about the country, care about sanitizing our water bodies. I think that they've shown intention. However, we are yet to see action.
Okay. Before you come in, Cleo, I disagree with the showing intention. I'll tell you why I disagree, and maybe you address us on that, Cleo. One of the biggest issues was around this LI 2467, the environmental mining and forest reserves.
Yeah.
President Mahama promised us that when he comes into power, he will revoke the LI, repeal it. But now he's changing his stance. He's saying that they want to amend it. And we are saying that that amendment will not be enough. So, Cleo, can you tell us why the president has changed his mind?
To add to that, I saw in the news that they said those who are seen partaking in illegal mining, if they are Chinese nationals, they will be deported. But I did watch a video of the same President Mahama in opposition saying that is unfair to Ghanaians. If Ghanaians would be made to do jail term, then foreigners who are also caught conducting the same illegality must be made to do with jail term. And that's something that we expect differently, because as you said, we've seen him before. Now we've trusted him. We don't want to be let down. If Ghanaians commit an illegality, they must go to jail. If a foreigner commits same illegality, I'm not sure if it was in China, they will just deport the person. They will make sure that the person will be made to face the full recourse of the law. And seeing that video, I was very surprised.
So Galamsey is the big issue.
The honest truth is that, and that's one of the huge albatrosses that attack the 120-day social contract. So I largely agree that government has not actually been forthcoming in its attempt to pursue the act of the LI actually, that prevents that's is supposed to stop illegal mining from happening. That notwithstanding, the attempts to amend the LI 2462, or is it 2462?
I think it's 2462.
Yeah, 2462. I think there are still attempts to amend it to ensure that the mining that is happening in forest reserves does not occur. So that's at least progress that has been made.
I mean, I've seen a lot of people saying that LI will not be repealed, and that is because we know how political it is.
Yeah.
We know that. Let's be honest as young people. We know that Galamseyers make a lot of money, and a lot of these money, because they know that the law will come for them, they use it to fund politicians, and that is the way they protect themselves. And so unless there's some serious shift in institutions, I do not see the startup is still going up.
Well, like in response to him, I would say, well, you still have 16 days more. So we never know what can happen in the next 16 days.
Unless some serious shift, radical shift in institutions and radical shift in
16 days more.
I do not think 16 days is enough to do all the remaining 13 plus policies. I do not think 12 or 13.
Well, that is also subjective, because a lot of things actually all just require political will, like he mentioned, and
radical shift.
And
But where does the political will come from?
If that political will exists, do you think that it would take not less than 2 days? Look at how Gold Board was effectively done within the shortest possible time. But I totally agree that we've not actually done enough in the conversation of Galamsey. However, I would just want to re-emphasize that there are so many efforts that are still being made by security agencies to root out
Is it the
illegal
people
miners.
who were wearing the uniform? I don't know if you saw the.
So
was it a blue or?
I'm talking with respect.
Is that what it's called, Galaxy?
Yeah, I mean, the optics didn't speak
at all.
Well, didn't speak Charlie, because on the ground, the Galamsey, not be small guns in the whole.
Police they ran then.
Police they ran for their lives.
But guys, on a more serious note, this is what I was actually going to say. You see, I don't know if you saw recently in the news, the military with a team from the
Forestry
Commission.
They shot the Forestry Commission officer.
They did that, but they've gone to shut down more than 2 different mining communities. And just this morning, I'm told that they also went to shut down another mining community located around the tunnel south.
I am told that when they go to the mining communities, it's not just there are slums within the communities, and like they build an entire community. It's not just like people there with. It's an entire community. They have all their amenities.
Certainly,
it's not a joke thing.
It's very appalling because the one they recently shut down, it has a very ubiquitous name. It's in Chi. I don't know if you know the name. Oh, I keep on forgetting it. But they went there and then they said that it was not just Ghanaians that were there. There were foreign nationals, people from different parts of West Africa. And how do you then ensure that you are preventing things from happening when other foreign nationals are coming to your country and also trying to be exploitative of the resources that you have? So, of course, yes, government hasn't done well by not ensuring the full repeal of 62. However, but I think that efforts are still being made to ensure that they root out these Galamsey operators. To the question of the prosecution of foreign nationals too, it's something I'm also a bit not happy with, actually, because I feel like
so Kilo Prachi, let's wrap up our points on
for us to have speedy implementation of our anti-Galamsey laws and to ensure that we conserve our resources, we need to provide disincentives, and the disincentives must include full prosecution of foreign nationals. So yeah, I think we can use this platform to make a call to government that they should revise its stance on the prosecution of foreign nationals who are engaged in Galamsey as well. We think that they must face the full brunt of the law, and if they are facing the full brunt of the law, that will ensure that we have a just, fair, and equitable society for Ghanaians.
So we are almost wrapping up, and I'm going to give each of you 1 minute to send a message to President Mahama. 16 days to go. Which of the policies would you like to see, and what do you think he can do
to
help us
to go first?
to help us as young people realize the Ghana we want? Jacob, the ball is in your court. 1 minute.
Look, dear President, young people, we are looking up to you. We voted you into power, and we expect you to bring transformational leadership. I would accept that there have been major wins. Ministers were nominated and vetted quickly. E-levies abolished. Betting taxes abolished. Dialogues have happened. But there are a lot of talks and some little action in certain regards. And we know that the intention, the signal has been good in the last 120 days, 104 days.
The signal is strong, eh?
Yes, but the signal is not enough. The signal is not enough. We are expecting way more. Education of PWDs, people with disabilities. So much was promised. And based on your own promises, we are holding you accountable. So those will be my last regards. We've seen that, of course, the plane has started, but it's yet to take off. And as I've said, we are not judging you by 120 days. And it's not really about what you've done in the last 120 days, but it's about the structures and the legacy you are willing to leave behind. The name Mahama is one that Ghanaians will never forget. And the youth of Ghana would always remember. but what will we remember him for? And that is something that I think should motivate every action that we need to take. That I'm saying has been on the hearts of Ghanaians. The previous president said that I will put my presidency on the line. I will put my presidency on the line, but we don't see action. So, Papa President, we beg you, young people, we want to see action.
When President Mahama was launching his campaign, the Building the Ghana We Want agenda, he said something very profound. He said that the youth see no future in this country. They see no silver lining in this country. And it's something I actually quoted when I was writing my essay on the 24-hour economy and its impact on youth employment generation. And so, President Mahama, you've identified and diagnosed the problem. And I personally trust in your leadership, a leadership of transformation, a leadership of accountability, and a leadership of humility. And I believe that you are strongly going to use this pace that you've set to ensure that Ghanaians have better outcomes and have an opportunity to just have an experience of what the Ghanaian dream truly should be. And so, President John Mahama, you have our full support. We, the young people of Ghana, are more than willing and ready to work with you. And we believe and trust that you'll be doing so much for us within the next 4 years. And so please, ignore the naysayers, ignore the detractors, if I should put it that way, and work for the good people of Ghana. That's all I would say.
All right. So this has been Democracy Day Street. Thank you for joining us. So if you are watching us and you're on the streets, want you to interact with us, tell us, is President Mahama on course or not? Use the hashtag Democracy Day Street.